So, changing your face is simple, and it's definitely something you should consider doing if you don't like the way your face looks right now. And I still have some work to do, but I've made tremendous progress, and hopefully you can see that in the thumbnail. My face used to be a lot more chubbier, a lot rounder, less angular. Like, I feel like I got a little bit of a jawline now. Anyways, not gonna waste your time. So, if you want to change your face, you're gonna have to change a lot of things in your lifestyle. And the biggest one, let me say that again. The biggest change you can make is with exercise and diet. If you lose the fat, your face will become more defined and more angular. But if you're one of them guys that has an underbite, and I used to kind of an overbite, I can't remember which one it is, where your teeth stick out in front, your jaw is pushed back. I used to kind of have that problem. And a common telltale way, the easy way to tell if you have this problem is if you close your mouth, your top row of teeth should almost completely cover your bottom row of teeth, which used to happen to me, and it used to be almost completely invisible. But since I've been doing the things I'm about to share with you, it's actually improved dramatically. So I'll show you real quick. My teeth aren't invisible anymore, and I wish I had a before picture to show you, but it used to be completely invisible and it used to be really bad. So, anyways, let's talk about what you can do. I already mentioned you can lose your fat. That's great. That's good. You should definitely do that because even with these things, the advice about to give you the tools I'm going to give you to do these things. If you're not changing your diet or exercising, you're really wasting a lot of potential. Not to mention that having higher testosterone and having muscle on your frame does affect the way your face develops and changes, especially if you're younger. But even if you're older, it'll make you look different too, in a good way. More masculine, more warrior-like. But anyways, so down to the techniques, and I'll give you a couple good ones, and I'm trying to keep it short so you have the most information possible, and I don't waste much of your time. So techniques is obviously first is mewing, which is going to be tongue posture, and if you're not sure what that is, highly recommend you look into it. Um, but basically, to give you the simple answer, your tongue is supposed to sit against the roof of your mouth. And most people, they breathe through their mouth, and their mouth is hanging open all the time. They grew up eating soft foods, which is another thing, eat hard food. And the jaw just doesn't develop enough, and their mouth isn't right, and their tongue just doesn't sit against its mouth like it's supposed to. Now, if you when your tongue's sitting against your mouth when you're developing, and you can affect this as an adult, whatever, but it's a little more difficult. But um, it actually pushes your palate up and it widens your cheekbones, sticks them out a little bit, makes your face a little more condensed. It gives you those hunter eyes that BlackPillers love to talk about, and kind of thing. There's a lot of other benefits to it. Obviously, you look more attractive. Um, I don't remember everything offhand. I don't have notes. I'm just all off the cuff memory and stuff I practice on a day-to-day basis. You can look into hard mewing too, which is when you not just put your tongue against your mouth, but you also press up against it. Be careful with that, but I do it from time to time. I try to remember to do it consciously. Um, that has helped speed up the progress. You can get about 6 months. In 6 months, you can probably get about 2 years worth of what regular mewing does. So look into that for sure, especially if you want speedy results and you don't want to, be pudgy. And I still got a little pudge and stuff. I gotta cut down a little bit. I'm trying to cut down right now, and I'm trying to triple down on these other things. Anyways, the next thing I can give you is breathing through your nose. So again, I briefly mentioned mouth breathing, which is a big problem because it enables a lot of these other bad things to happen, like not having your tongue against the roof of your mouth and whatnot. But mouth breathing within itself is also a problem. You're supposed to be breathing through your nose. And when you do that, your nasal passages clear up, they get bigger, and it also helps with pushing out your cheekbones a little bit. But it's also more natural, more healthy, and you should be doing it anyways. If you're not doing it already, you should get on that. The other thing, if you have trouble doing this, if you're naturally a mouth breather like I was for most of my life, I highly recommend getting some micropore tape and then putting it over your mouth while you sleep. You don't have to tape up your mouth, you suffocate. You don't even really need that much. Just put a little bit right here, like that. Close your mouth, put it right there. And you know your mouth, your brain, whatever it is, will default to your nose while you sleep. And you'll breathe through your nose, and it becomes a lot easier to maintain a habit throughout the day if you're also doing it at night. And eventually, this becomes a natural, becomes your favorite option because you get 8 hours of practice. You should be getting 8 hours of sleep, but you get 8 hours of practice every night doing that. So again, I briefly mentioned chewing harder foods. When you're a kid, you're supposed to be chewing harder foods, and for people who are wondering why they don't have their teeth, it's all messed up and whatever, they all hanging over each other. It's because your jaw did not develop enough when you were a kid because you ate too much soft food. I'm sure there's a genetic component to stuff. I'm sure there's people that just get screwed over in the genes department, get poverty genes and have bad teeth. But I think the average person, especially if your ancestors, your parents have good teeth, they don't have fucked up teeth. Um, you probably just ate too much soft food as a kid and mouth breathed too much, and then all the other bad things that I mentioned too. And again, um, being fat isn't going to mess up your teeth, but the other things also negatively add to your face, and your smile is a big deal. I mean, I got some gaps in my teeth. I never had problems with my teeth overlapping. I actually had a little too much space. I think I don't know, genetics, whatever. Um, but yeah, I've made tremendous progress, and my front teeth up here, my top teeth, I'm sorry, doesn't completely cover that like it used to. It used to be a big overbite. My jaw was like way back here, and my face was a lot pudgier. And I didn't like showing my teeth very much, and it would be hard pressed to find an old picture of me showing my teeth, which I will gladly do now because I've made tremendous progress, and my face looks a lot better. Even though I'm not a handsome guy, but if you don't like your face, if you're anything like me, you had a lot of self-hatred, did not like the way your face looked, and didn't like looking at your reflection in the mirror, especially if you're a fat guy like I used to be, I highly recommend that you do something about it instead of complain about it like I did for most of my life. Again, if you're an adult, you like me, you're an adult, you're getting into this late in the game. It's gonna be harder. I think it's gonna take longer if you're a younger kid, teenager, whatever, in a growth spurt while you're doing these things. The results will be very, very fast. But if you're older, it takes more time. Doesn't mean you can't get those results. It just means it takes time because you're not in a growth spurt. You're not going to be in an advantageous position to do those things. But that's all I gotta say. So hopefully this video was informative and gave you something to think about, some actionable steps to take in your life to improve your face, which goes a long ways. Humans are very superficial, and your face does make a big difference. And first impressions are everything. I mean, your looks get your foot in the door a lot of the times, and not just with women. And I'm not, we don't, women aren't everything. We're meant to serve God, but I'm just saying, there's a big proponent to, how do I say this? Your looks does play a big role in a lot of the interactions you have in your life. There's something called the halo effect, which does play a big role in how you are perceived by people, and being perceived as less creepy, being perceived as less whatever. And that's why a lot of serial killers that are very, very good at what they do are often very attractive people. It's because of the halo effect. But anyways, that's a whole nother topic. But anyways, thank you for watching. Have a good night.